Democrats and pledged to oppose his nomination. The unfavorable recommendation by the Senate next week. So, despite the road bump, everything should work out for Trump and Pompeo, but this is just another example of the disgusting obstructionism we're still seeing. You see, President Trump needs his team in place. He needs everybody there, all the ducks in a row, so he can accomplish the goals he promised us from the election. He needs fulfilled quite a few. But without all the key components to his administration in place, it makes it even harder for him. So what the Democrats are simply trying to do, is create as much friction between President Trump and his agenda so that he can't claim any victories. So come midterms, they can say President Trump is a failure. So this is a disgusting and sick political move, which basically puts the entire country at risk, especially when we're talking about the Secretary of State. And we have such a historic meeting coming up with the North Koreans. So comment below your thoughts. We'll see you at the next report. For the Next News Network, I'm Gary Franchi. Got some breaking news from the southern border now. President Trump giving the order striking fear into every single illegal who's plotting to invade America. Sagar and Jetty for the Daily Caller reports President Trump ordered the Secretary of Homeland Security not to allow illegal immigrant caravans of people to cross into the United States from Mexico. President Trump had this to tweet. He says, despite the Democrat-inspired laws on sanctuary cities and the border being so bad and one-sided, I've instructed the Secretary of Homeland Security not to let these large caravans of people into our country. It is a disgrace. We're the only country in the world so naive. Wall. Yes, my friends, he's bringing up the wall yet again. President Trump has been particularly incensed about reports of caravans of Central American migrants bound for the U.S. The president and his administration have pressed the Mexican government to disband the caravans and use their immigration laws to quell illegal arrivals to the United States. Secretary of Homeland Security Kirstjen Nielsen has lamented a rise in illegal immigrant arrivals recently, noting, quote, given the numbers we've had last month, they just came out. 50,000 in April is a number that we have interdicted or otherwise was inadmissible. The Secretary highlighted newly released numbers from Customs and Border Patrol, which show a 37% increase in the number of apprehensions at the border. So President Trump issuing the Department of Homeland Security right now to take action. Comment below. We'll see you at the next report. For the Next News Network, I'm Gary Franchi. Got an amazing video I'm about to show you. After that Waffle House horror event over the weekend, one man has now emerged to fight the liberal lunatics single-handed. Ryan Cerveda for the Daily Caller reports that on Sunday, a 29-year-old man shot several people at a Waffle House in Nashville, Tennessee. The suspect was stopped by an unarmed hero, James Shaw Jr., after he wrestled the gun away from the shooter. Now, true to form, the shooting prompted far-left activists to immediately champion nationwide gun confiscation. As is the case in many shootings, it was only a matter of hours before it was revealed that the suspect was prohibited from possessing firearms, as his firearms were previously confiscated. Liberals have once again jump-started their war against guns. However, following the event, one law-abiding gun owner slammed the liberal lunatics who want criminals to dictate the rights of law-abiding citizens. And he did it during a city council meeting on how to combat gun violence. Watch this clip from the Daily Caller Facebook page. It's now got over 25 million views. Take a look.
You can take the guns away from us all you want to. You all write a law, I follow the law, I'll bring my guns down here, I'll turn them in. But here's what's going to happen. The Crips and the Bloods on the other side of town, they're not going to turn their guns in. They're going to hold on to them. And what's going to happen when you have to send the police down there to go take them? The police can barely enforce the law. What I want to know is, when are you all going to start standing up for the majority? And here's who the majority is. I'm the majority. I'm a law-abiding citizen who's never shot anybody, never committed a serious crime, never committed a felony. I've never done anything like that. But it seems like every time we have one of these shootings, nobody wants to put the blame where it goes, which is at the shooter's feet. You want to put it at my feet. You want to turn around and restrict my right, constitutional right that's spelled out in black and white. You want to restrict my right to buy a firearm and protect myself from some of the very people you're talking about in here tonight. It's ridiculous. I don't think Rod Serling could come up with a better script. It does not make any sense. The law-abiding citizens of this community and many communities around this country, we're the first ones taxed and the last ones considered and the first ones punished when things like this happens, because our rights are the ones that are being taken away. That's the reason why I came down here today. Gun show or no gun show, NRA or no NRA. I'm here to stand up for the law-abiding citizens of this community, because I'm going to tell you that what's going to happen. You can take the guns away from us all you want to. You all write a law, I follow the law, I'll bring my guns down here, I'll turn them in. But here's what's going to happen. The Crips and the Bloods on the other side of town, they're not going to turn their guns in. They're going to hold on to them. And what's going to happen when you have to send the police down there to go take them? The police can barely enforce the law as it is. It's what I see. We demonize the police, criminalize and vilify the police, and we make the criminals into victims. And we're talking about restricting guns? How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that when the police department's already hamstrung? You're not going to be able to go down here and take these guns from these criminals. So the criminals are going to hold on to their guns. They're still going to have them. They're still going to break in my house, and they're still going to shoot me with them. And guess who's going to be the one that suffers? It's going to be me. Well, I'm here to tell you tonight, it is not going to happen without a fight. And when I say fight, I don't mean shots fired. I don't mean fist thrown. I mean I'm going to come down here to this city council and raise hell just like these loonies from the left do until you listen to the majority of the people in this city. And I am the majority. The majority of the people in this city are law-abiding, and they follow the law, and they want their constitutional right to be able to bear arms. They want to be able to go to the gun show and buy a hunting rifle or sport rifle. There are no military-grade weapons sold at the gun show. An AR-15 is not a military-grade weapon. Anybody that would go into combat with an AR-15 is a fool. It's a semi-automatic .22 rifle. You'd be killed in 15 minutes in combat with that thing. So we need to dispel all these myths, and we need to drop all this division that we got going on here. Because the bottom line is, when that Second Amendment was written, whether the framers liked it or not, they wrote it for everybody. And I am everybody. And the law-abiding citizens of this city are everybody. And we want our rights, and we want to keep our rights. And by God, we're going to keep them, come hell or high water.
What more can be said? What more can be said? That is the truth. Comment below with your thoughts and hit that share button. For the Next News Network, I'm Gary Franchi. Welcome to the Next News Network. I want you to know that YouTube is limiting our reach. Why? Because we're a conservative news outlet. So after you watch this report, use the link below if you want to stay updated and become a Next News insider to get our email alerts, and then be sure to confirm your subscription. Now, on to the news. CBS at it again, stooping to a horrible new low with a sick anti-Trump character saying 6 words that should never be said about a sitting president. Kristen Taylor for the Gateway Pundit reports that CBS All Access Television on Sunday night streamed an episode of a program called The Good Fight, in which an anti-president Donald Trump character armed with a handgun said, we need to, quote, we need to assassinate the president, and then spoke of regime change. The Media Research Center Callista Ring reported on CBS nationwide broadcast encouraging the assassination of President Trump. Watch this.
All right, just follow my lead and don't say anything radical.
Like we need to assassinate the president.
No, don't even joke about that.
Now, CBS has a habit of broadcasting calls for the assassination of Republican presidents and GOP nominees. In the year 2000, CBS aired a taped episode of the Craig Kilborn Show, in which footage of the GOP presidential nominee George W. Bush was shown with the words at the bottom of the screen, "Snipers wanted." Yes, the liberal media, they cry out for gun control when tragedies occur, but they go ahead and encourage it in the media they produce. The hypocrisy is unbelievable. Comment below, subscribe for updates. We'll see you at the next report. For the Next News Network, I'm Gary Franchi. The founder of BET is now admitting that Trump is making liberals' worst nightmare come true. Jim Hoffer, the Gateway Pundit, reports that the BET founder, Robert Johnson, he might be a Democrat, but he's not stupid. The nation's first black billionaire praised the Trump economy for bringing black workers into the economy. Of course, this is something the Democrats, they despise. They don't want people working. They want people on the government tit. Yes, that's a fact. The growing U.S. economy and improving business environment is bringing black workers back into the labor force. That is the word of BET founder Robert Johnson. He told CNBC in March, falling short of the 193 gain economists were expecting. Take a look.
You have to take encouragement from what's happening in the labor force and the job market. When you look at African-American unemployment, in over 50 years since the Bureau of Labor Statistics has been keeping the numbers, you've never had two things: African-American unemployment this low, and the spread between unemployment among whites and African-Americans narrowing. That absolutely means that the job market is soliciting employees who have been out of the labor force, some of it just based on, discrimination, some of it based on, changes in education access and technology changing. And so when you look at that, you got to say something is going right.
You heard him say it. Something is going right. And you know what it is? It's called the Trump effect, my friends. In January, the Labor Department reported the unemployment rate among black workers was at its lowest since the early 1970s, when the government began tracking that specific data point. The unemployment rate for black Americans spiked in January and then fell in February. The rate was unchanged in March at 6.9%. So the Trump effect taking effect. And of course, liberals freaking out because why? Well, they don't want America to succeed. They don't want black people to succeed. They don't want minorities to succeed. They want to be the individuals who well, put it bluntly, enslave these individuals. Economy where jobs open up and then people. CNN's Dana Bash getting smacked down after inappropriately grilling Kellyanne Conway about her husband. Cassandra Fairbanks for the Gateway Pundit reports that Kellyanne Conway smacked down CNN's Dana Bash over the weekend after the pundit began inappropriately questioning the counselor to the president about her husband's Twitter account. Take a look.
What is up with your husband's tweets? Your husband is a very well-respected lawyer, and he's been sending some tweets that have been critical of the administration. Just an example, in response to a tweet he saw saying President Trump's aides are reluctant to speak for him because he contradicts them later, your husband wrote, "So true, it's absurd."
He writes a lot of things that are also supportive, and he writes a lot of things about corgis and Philadelphia Eagles and sports, too. It's fascinating to me that CNN would go there, but it's very good for the whole world to have just witnessed that it's now, that it's now fair game what people's, how people's spouses and significant others may differ with them. I'm really surprised, but in some ways, relieved and gratified to see that. That should really be fun.
No, I actually, first of all, I would ask you that if you were a man and
No,
your
you
wife
wouldn't.
were 1,000% I would.
No.
And it's not about that. It's about questioning, publicly questioning what you are doing for a living with regard to your boss. And it has nothing to do with your gender.
And it has nothing to do with my spouse. And
right, that's why I'm just asking.
Oh, no. You just brought him into this. So this ought to be fun moving forward, Dana.
Okay.
We're now going to talk about other people's spouses and significant others just because they either work in the White House or at CNN. Are we going to do that? Because you just went there.
Yes.
CNN just went there. Look, differences of opinions.
By the way, this isn't critical. I'm just asking
about. Of course it was. It was meant to harass and embarrass, but
Conway claimed that the bash meant to harass and embarrass